Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Well, if you're here from one of the Game House's regular shows, you might be wondering, hey, what's going on here? This isn't Watch House.
What's this all about?
Yeah, this isn't D&D. This isn't Watch House. What's going on here? So we are HausQueens, and this is our very first episode. We are a women-aligned Overwatch League talk show, bringing you everything from recaps to some discourse to some guests. We're just gonna handle it all. So if you couldn't tell from where we're at right now, we're affiliated with the Game Haus, which is a sports and esports website, doing some really excellent beat writing right now for Overwatch League and some other stuff too. Which I guess will just lead us into who are these people on your screen right now. So, yes, Mallory, do you want to start?
Oh, sure. I will certainly start. Hello. My name is Mallory. I am the beat writer for the Boston Uprising and sometimes the LA Valiant, as you can see by my shirt. And yeah, I have a great time talking about my boys that stress me out.
I think all our boys stress us out a good bit.
Truest of moods.
Don't I know it?
The esports mood, eternally.
Brandon, what are you talking about?
Yeah, imagine.
Yeah.
You don't stress. What are you talking about, girl?
Only in playoffs.
Playoffs exist. Playoffs is still a time that exists. Okay.
LW Blue and Showcase playoffs.
No fears. The Atlanta Reign. One fear.
Atlanta Reign, one fear.
That's true. The Atlanta Reign did hurt Miranda's feelings this week. I think Miranda should go next.
Yeah, I think Miranda,
Yeah.
who are you?
Hi, my name is Miranda, and I'm sad.
Oh, mood.
My name is Miranda Rodriguez. I'm from Long Island, New York, and therefore I am a fan of the New York Excelsior. I also beat write for them at the Game Haus. They're my bubbling baby boys, and I love them. I started playing Overwatch last year, and I got into the esports scene that same year. So it's been a wild ride for me, but we certainly out here.
We really out here.
We really do be out here. I also have a cat who's trying desperately to come on screen right now, and if you see him, that's what that be.
Let Obi play video games.
Yeah.
Obi is our friend.
Let him have a great time.
There you go. That's
Sure.
our
Content.
There he is.
Look at him. He's just leave me alone.
All right. Kate, do you want to go next?
Okay. Yep. My name is Kate Shepard. Also go by Sybil on the interwebs. I am the Philadelphia Fusions beat writer. I also like to cry about the Paris Eternal, and yeah, I just love way too many teams. Honestly, I also am a huge Gladiators and Dallas Fuel fan. But yeah, those are my teams, and I love talking about them all on Twitter a lot. I'm sorry, I have an addiction. I know, but
She's just got a lot of love.
I got a lot of love. I got a lot of love.
You got a lot of feelings.
I got a lot of feelings.
I got a lot of esports feelings.
Alright, Katie, you want to go next?
Yes. Hi, I'm Katie Gripney. I don't do beats at the Game Haus, actually. I mostly do features, some long-form narrative nonfiction, and then fill-in beat reporting. So I'm not affiliated with any team in particular, but I do write about the Gladiators frequently, and I'm a big Gladiators fan. Katie and Loving support duos, name a more iconic duo. Yeah, I think that's about it for my basic introduction.
It's very good, and if you haven't read it,
Yes.
you should read all their stuff, but it makes me cry on a regular basis.
No!
You should especially read it. And I guess that brings it back to me.
Barbara.
My name is Darby Joyce, not actually short for Darbra.
Yes, it is.
As far as you know. Also go by Soundcheckk on the internet. I am TGH's beat writer for the Hangzhou Spark, and then my backup team is the Philly Fusion.
Backup team.
Well,
Backup.
Kate did such a good job on it, I really just don't have to worry about it most of the time.
I'm sorry. I'm just really, really good at my job.
The charge shirt might be a little misleading, but they're my friends.
They're my friends.
So yeah, that is us. Now you know who we are, and maybe you're wondering, how did we decide to do this? So, basically, we got together. We thought that the perspective of women in the esports scene is really gaining traction, in large part due to a podcast that a couple of us watch called Hot Pot, which I will link to, but at some point.
Fan, by the way.
Yeah, huge fan.
Yes,
Hot Pot,
big fan.
Hot Pot, if you're watching this for some reason,
Please restart if you're free on Thursday.
we're all free on Thursday. We still think the perspective of women in the scene is pretty underrepresented. So we wanted to offer a show that not only provides that perspective, but also contributes in any way to creating a sports scene that's empowering and inclusive for everyone who's a fan and for everyone who wants a way in.
We just want to create a safe space for people who might not feel like they have a safe space. We're going to be talking to a lot of women in the industry, a lot of just people that are behind the scenes. And we're just going to provide that outlet. And I think that's something we're all really excited and passionate about. And we hope that y'all will stick along for the ride for this, because we have a lot of great guests in our lineup coming up soon.
We're HausQueens, which, implies, female aligned, but we're also really interested in sort of discussing any marginalized voice in the scene, anyone, like we've said, who doesn't, feel like they fit into the traditional narrative of esports. So, if you are LGBT identifying, if you, anything, come hang out.
Yeah, we've got some great segments planned. We've got some great guests, like Kate said. There's a whole lot of stuff we've got lined up, and it's going to be a wild ride that I'm really looking forward to sharing with you guys.
Yeah.
Excited.
Yeah.
But we're here right now, and we thought the best way to start was to just sort of kind of introduce ourselves a bit more, starting out with sort of get into how we got into esports and where we're going from here. So I don't know if maybe Miranda wants to start with that.
How I got into esports?
Yeah.
Well, I was kind of a casual fan last year, and an old friend got me into Overwatch and consequently the Overwatch World Cup. That kind of came as soon as I was really getting into Overwatch, and then I got into the Overwatch League, and it was just like I was super casual of a fan until finals happened. And I am, again, from New York. I'm from Long Island. So it was everything that was going on in the city was super accessible to me. I was able to go to the NYXL homecoming weekend, the pop-up shop. I was lucky enough to actually attend finals both days. It was such a crazy, awesome experience. I got to meet all of my favorite boys, and they all signed that flag up there.
Oh!
I just can't really see, but they all signed that. And from that moment, I just kind of really fell in love with specifically the Overwatch League and the kind of fan base it has at the moment. I feel like it's just generally overall just a kind of positive space, and people are just super nice and welcoming and accepting for the most part. And I feel like there's always work to be done when it comes to being nice and welcoming, accepting to everyone, of course, which is why I feel like this show is so important and why I'm so happy that we're doing this. But so as soon as finals happened, I was like, wow, I'm really, really in this. And then
we're really out here.
When I saw the job listing for the Game Haus, and I was like, bet. My flag. And I'm here.
I love that. Bet.
Sometimes the journey begins with bet.
Honestly.
Kate, do you want to go next?
Yeah, I can go next. Oh, Lord. I can hear myself. My esports journey is kind of interesting. I wasn't allowed to play video games growing up, so I don't have much of a gamer background. Yeah, it really wasn't until I got into college and a couple of my friends and then my boyfriend at the time, he just kind of was super into the fighting game scene. And that's kind of how my whole interest kind of got started in esports. From there, it kind of went on to Dota and League of Legends. And then Overwatch came out. And I was like, there's a talking monkey. I got really excited. My boyfriend wanted me to play Mercy, so that's what I ended up playing. But that's another story for another time. But yeah, I would just start watching the competitive scene at the time, which was like Apex, and I kind of the teams NBA. From there, I just kind of watched the World Cup, and I got to know more of the players, and I just kind of slowly kind of fell in love with the scene. And then once the Overwatch and utter disappointment came. And then I was like, oh, cool, Big Goose and Shaz. These guys are great. Started as a Gladiators fan. And then I started noticing a bright orange team that just kind of captured my heart. And I just fell in love with like all of them. And it's just something that makes me so happy. And from there, my friends started getting sick of me talking about it. And I noticed there was a spot open at the Game Haus, and after a lot of yelling and, you know, kind of forcing me into my chair to go do the application, I finally did it, heard back, and that's been my esports journey with the Fusion so far, and it's been absolutely great. The best part about this was literally, I'm gonna sound like such a suck up, but it was meeting all of y'all. Like, I think
it really has been. Yeah,
like,
definitely.
this is something I've never seen in any esport community that I've been in. A lot of the women kind of don't. There's not like a big female presence in most of the scenes that I've been through. This has for sure been one of the biggest ones and one of the best ones. And so I think that's something at the Game Haus that we have that's really unique, is how many women writers we have and the bond that we have all created with one another.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So, yeah, that's what I'm most excited about for this podcast, is sharing that love with each other, with just the whole scene, with everyone here. So that's me.
Sorry, to touch on that a little bit, I definitely want that to be sort of the tone that we have for HausQueens, where for a long time before I had the Game Haus, I didn't have friends I could talk about esports with, or to like, especially like girlfriends I could speak about it with. So you know, I'm really excited for other people who, you know, may not have found their group of people yet to come be one of our people and to come join us on our esports feelings. So also a little bit of promo, but also just like follow us on Twitter so we can shout about esports together, because it'll be very fun. I will respond.
We should make a Discord too.
Oh yeah, we should. Yes. Anyway,
that's another conversation.
Yeah, we'll brand. We'll work on it.
Yeah. Katie, you could bounce off of that if you want to.
Sure. So sort of in an opposite trajectory, or an opposite like lane to Kate. I grew up in a house that was like full of books, but also my dad hated reading. So growing up, like video games were how I explored narratives with my dad. So that was storytelling. That was, you know, big lessons about bravery and love and hardship and respect and that sort of stuff. It all came through video games. So video games have been a part of my life for a very long time. And before I did esports journalism, I did like traditional games journalism. Games journalism.
Right,
so
writer,
like,
by the way.
writer, by the way. English major, by the way. So I, you know, like Roger Ebert for video games. So I thought about video games through like an academic lens, or like a social political lens. You know, whatever sort of lens you want to throw on it. However, I can make it pretentious. I did. And then I was taking a class about video game theory, and I was introduced to the Overwatch League through a friend of mine. And I sort of fell in love with, you know, the stories that existed outside of the game. And so that's sort of why I do a lot of feature writing, is because I'm really interested in sort of like the magic in the real world. So I love to tell stories about like Internet Hulk and Mickey. I did a piece on Uber that was really inspirational. I had this phone call with Uber, and by the end of it, I was like, I hung up and was just like crying, because I was like, I need to get my life together. I gotta be a better person now. Like, so my journey to esports has been really interesting, and sort of just ties into every intersection of like culture and identity and media that I love the most. So it deals with like one of my best friends lives in Korea and has for the last like 4 years or so. So it allows me to sort of understand the world that she lives in now a little bit better. I feel a little bit closer to sort of the whole world through esports, and I hope that through the work that we do, everyone else can feel a little bit closer too.
Yeah, that was actually something I was going to touch on in my intro, because I come from, I studied international relations back when I was in college, and I really think that was one of the things that drew me to writing about esports. Like, just like I want to explore like anything from like visa issues to just culture shock.
Yes.
And just like stuff like that. When geolocation hits, if it hits next year, or whenever it's supposed to hit, I think there's a lot of really interesting stuff you could write about that.
I'm really excited to explore like economic issues that come with localization as well. Yeah. We'll table that for another time, another episode. We'll get like to talk about money than I am.
It's like you won't find it here. No, not me. Not I.
a budget in this economy.
But yeah.
Mallory, you good?
Mallory
Okay.
feels attacked.
I had a great time. Oh my god. Oh my goodness gracious.
Should we hop over to Mallory then? Can you talk to us about your journey into esports?
Oh, of course I can.
Thank you.
So I found out specifically about like Overwatch esports when I was hanging out one day in the summer, literally just doing nothing. And my boyfriend turned on Twitch. And like I never really watched it before. Like I didn't really think of like, oh, I'm bored, I'm gonna go on Twitch and watch something. Like that wasn't how my brain worked. So he turned it on. He saw that the Overwatch World Cup was on, and he just put it on because we both really liked playing. I'd been playing for like a year at that point. He'd been playing for the same amount of time. So he put it on and I started watching it, and I was like, I didn't know that this could be played at like a competitive level. That's super cool. And I got very into it very quickly. Like there wasn't even any like sort of grace period. I was just, it's time to go.
It was my life.
It was my life. I
Yeah.
saw Team Canada and I saw Agilities, and I was like, this is it.
Motherhood is so rewarding.
It truly is. I just want him to be okay. So from there, once they announced the Overwatch League, I was like, let's go. It's time. I'm ready. And I was a fan of the Valiant first because one, Mercy was their mascot, and I love Mercy. And two, they had my son, Agilities. So it was very easy for me. I liked them first, and then as the season started, I grew to love the Boston Uprising because, I live in New England, and I wanted to support them. So from there, I believe I saw Brandon. I was following Brandon on Twitter for a while, and I saw him post about the like open beat writing positions, and I was in like the back seat of a car, and I was like, I think I'm going to do something about this. And I sent an email from my phone, and I was like, all right, here we go. And then I got the job, and I was like, hell yeah. So
Sorry.
now I'm living that dream, and I'm living that life, and yeah, I mean that's it for me. I really got into it too, especially with the whole like being LGBTQ myself. I like gravitated towards people like Muma and whatnot. And as with being a woman, when Geggery came onto the pro scene, I was like, thank you so much for my life. This is all I've wanted. She's there, like I can watch her play, and it just feels good. Like it's really, really hard to. Oh yeah, Muma's gay. He's openly gay. Responding to someone in the chat. So yeah, it just feels really good to be able to like watch these people and be like they can be successful in an environment that's not always very welcoming towards who they are. And that's what's like super important about this whole thing to me is like normalizing the fact that these people are here and we just want to play games, man.
Yeah.
I just want to play.
We're just trying to game.
Am I right, gamers? I'm just trying to get this bread, and I'm not going to apologize for that.
How do you do, fellow gamers?
That was when I first joined the Game Haus. I had no idea how to talk to people, and so every time I'd enter voice chat, I'd be like, "What's up, gamers?" And like I tried to make it sound ironic, but in case they were like really into it, I was just like I towed that line a little bit where I was like, you know, when you're joking about something but you're not really joking.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to Brandon, Padilla, Siegelman, if you're familiar. And I actually used to work for Brandon. I used to do transcription work for him on the side while I was freelancing. And that's how I found out about the Game Haus. I forgot that I didn't add my little how I got here specifically. I found out how I got into esports and then into writing, and it was a whole tangent, as I'm wont to do. But
I think I just saw a post on Reddit. I think that's how I got here.
I was on internships.com, powered by Meg, and I googled like Overwatch League internships because I'm a photographer and I just really want to do some esports photography. Robert Paul,
if you're free on Thursday.
Miranda's really good. She'd be great.
I just want to practice. So I found it and I was like,
is and just took her. Well,
Yoink, my photographer down.
Oh, I think we are experiencing some.
I don't know what's happening back. But I found it on Twitter and well, no, I found it on internships.com and then I followed the Game Haus on Twitter. And then I applied through internships.com and then I never heard back. So I started badgering whoever runs the Twitter. Whoever runs the Twitter, I'm so sorry. Like, bugged the hell out of whoever.
Hire me.
Like, literally, I just kept messaging them. And I was just like, hey, I really want to do this. Hey, please hit me up. Like, please just answer my email. And then eventually, I guess, oh my God, I remember the email I got. It was just like, we have noticed your persistence and it has really impressed us. And I was like, oh, that means I'm annoying.
No, it means you're getting the bread.
Both. And then, yeah. And then they were like, let's do an interview. And then I talked to Dalton and now I'm here.
Nice.
During my interview, Dalton tried to talk to me about real sports, and that just did not fly.
It's okay. I made a really bad joke about the Valiant, and I thought he was going to be like, no, right there and then. So,
No bully, Kate. No bully.
Little
sorry,
bully.
Can't hear you.
Go.
What's the Valiant's?
No bully.
What? How are the Valiant doing right now?
I gotta
go.
We are one.
They're
We are
doing their best.
And
I tease. I do love the Valiant. I do love the majority. I just also like really making Mallory mad.
You better leave my son.
your son is protected by the rules of being mom. I think I might be clipping.
I think Darby actually hasn't gone yet. Have you, Darby?
Oh yeah, Darby.
Yeah.
We went off on a tangent. Sorry.
I'm just enjoying the banter. I'm just having a good time, honestly.
Darby's turn.
Like, yeah. I mean, honestly, it was kind of like Mallory's for me. Like, I just started watching Overwatch League a couple months after I graduated from college because I think it was literally just on the Battle.net client. So that was my super inspiring story. But, like, I mean, I always really enjoyed writing, and I was always, like, okay at writing, I thought.
Mm-hmm.
So I ended up just combining that with the fact that I just constantly have a lot of thoughts about esports. And I went hunting, and I found the Game Haus on Twitter. And that's about it. That's how I got in, because this is my first real journey into the esports scene. And it's been really good to me so far, because I've met some really good people.
Yeah. Yeah, this has been my journey into esports was like really fast and really intense. And I went from like sitting in my basement writing articles about the LA Gladiators that like no one ever saw. I remember I wrote this article about Fusion University right before they became 2-time champs. And it took me like 3 hours to find all the assets, to do all the research, to make sure I was like right about everything. And it got 8 views and 1 full read, which is like oof. And then my first article that I published with the Game Haus got like, I don't know that I'm allowed to say because of advertising reasons, but significantly more than that, because Bren from the Overwatch League was really kind and had it as his pinned tweet for a while. And so it was like really crazy to have that sort of like audience really fast. And that was another conversation that was like extremely emotional. Not from me this time, actually, like from him. And so it's just, for me, esports has always been like a very intense, like emotionally tied thing, just because of sort of the fact that it's a very human industry, despite there being this like digital difference or like distance between people. So I think also like for HausQueens, for me, like I always keep reiterating that it's about making connections. It's about maintaining and creating relationships between people, because I think that's what makes esports different from traditional sports, besides obviously being on computers, but it's the thing that's going to sustain a scene, as opposed to just, being a tradition so far in like Western culture, like baseball or something like that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Sorry, there's my tangential.
No. Absolutely.
Katie's
That's
thoughts
what
are
we're
always
here
the
for.
best thoughts.
Yeah, Katie's smarter than I am, so.
Katie
I have one brain. I have the brain cell tonight.
Katie's the elk of the group. She has the brain cell.
I love my son.
Podcast.
Hold on. The Mayhem fan is here.
Hi, Anthony.
Hi, Anthony.
Big fan, by the way.
Anthony!
Massive fan.
Anthony, I'm such a big fan. Anthony, I retweeted that video of you with Big Time Rush. It changed my life.
Hi, Anthony. I designed the overlay and also the logo. Please validate me.
Be my friend challenge.
Please.
Oh, everyone in the chat saying I have a wrinkly brain. Thank you. Yeah, I do what I can.
The wrinkliest brain.
Oh! Shoot, I know you. You invited me to your barbecue. I'm coming, I promise. Sorry. I'm a social creature.
We're all just making friends in the chat.
Yeah, we're just having fun now.
Yeah. Oh god, my finger hurts. They're bad. There we go.
I have very, very sausagey fingers.
I can't do it. I have short thumbs, so I'm lucky.
Unlucky.
Ooh.
I
don't know.
Ooh. Oh, a little this. Hit him with the fan service. The SBB moods.
Stop.
Can we? Okay. I had this idea for an article that I really wanted to do, but it's not sort of like my tone, because normally people just tell me like their childhood trauma. But I want to do something that's like an unauthorized guide to the Overwatch League, which is just like all the like weird garbage that's made on like a vast stream, like Yoda Chad and stuff like that. And I really want to do like unpack that, like those terms on this live stream and talk about sort of like our own.
I think my mom watched that episode. It's like, here's what. And it sounds like I'm speaking a foreign language. This is what I mean.
When I, like, sometimes in public I'll accidentally say feels bad, man, and people are like, they sort of, it's one of those ones that's, like, close enough that they understand, kind of, but they're also like, what are you on about? Like, that makes no sense. So, I'm so close to being a normie, I really just can't nail it in the end. I can't stick the landing on being a normie, and it's the worst thing.
It's like normie adjacent.
You're normie adjacent.
I'm so tantalizingly close.
But then you say pog aloud, and that
No, I have never done that. I have never done that. I've only said...
I am pretty sure.
I said
we all said pog together. Well, together.
Yeah, in this is a safe space for me to say pog.
Yeah, of course, we could say pog around each other.
This is a whole pod.
I say it at work all the time. It's actually pretty bad.
Hold on. I heard someone in a classroom setting say pog in real life. Like a few weeks ago, and it changed my life.
You have to make friends with them.
I don't know how to like react to it.
I did that. My friend Eli, I don't think he's here, but he's friends with Biker Thulu in the chat. He was wearing a New York Excelsior jersey in class. I'd never made a friend in university before. I'm plagued with so much social anxiety, but I was like, you know what, whatever. This is my last year of college. I'm just going to go for it. And I walked up to him and I was like, oh, I'm like the secondary writer for the time I was. And now he's a good friend of mine, and he fixed my computer so we could do this podcast today. So yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So anyway, that's my inspirational story about getting the friendship bread because of esports.
Yeah, and that's maybe the real bread was the friends we made along the way.
Maybe the real W was the friends we made along the way. Am I right, gamers?
Any gamers in the chat?
Gamers rise up.
I wish.
There we are.
I think we lost, our connection.
Oh no!
I'm so sorry, everyone. We're having some technical difficulties tonight.
I'll hang out with chat. We'll be fine.
That's technically what we're doing anyway. We literally stopped our notes after our introductions, and we didn't think we'd get this far, so...
Are we back? I heard that we're back.
Alright,
we're back. Cool.
Any gamers in chat?
Any gamers? I'm just trying to get the kids.
What happened to me was I have an Overwatch League jacket that I wear, and it's like super thick, and I am going to school in Vermont, so I wear it all the time. And I was sitting in a lounge on like campus, and then some dude in a Boston Uprising jersey sprinted up to me, like sprinted.
No, thank you.
And I was just like, okay. He like ran.
Miranda hated that.
I did. It was a lot. He ran up to me and he was like, there's gonna be an Overwatch League like watch party today in like this room on this building on campus. Like, you should come. And I was just like, I have to write an article
About Overwatch League.
Exactly. Like, I was just like, I have a job to do. Cannot. Sorry. And then I never saw him again. So.
Maybe he wasn't real.
He disappeared into the night.
That was
a
actually
figment
me.
of your imagination. It's actually Dorothy.
I was astral projecting.
I mean, that's the kind of energy I radiate in like my head when I see other people with Overwatch stuff, which is rare. But like, I don't go up to them and be like, my best friend, you know.
Not even like I was mad about it, because I love connecting to people about like Overwatch and Overwatch League and all that fun stuff. Like, I love like talking to people about it. It was just a lot to handle all at once.
Yeah.
Especially because like, I was just tired, and I was on campus, and I was just like, I just don't want to be on campus right now. I just want to be in my room. And then all of a sudden that happened. So like,
One time I saw a guy on my campus, or a person on my campus, pardon me, who was wearing a Cloud9 jersey, and my idiot brain could not stop screaming C9. And I was like, I can't just go up to this person I don't know, because it wasn't even like an Overwatch jersey. It was definitely like a League of Legends jersey. I just kept screaming C9 in my head, and I was like, that's a hate crime. I can't go up to someone and scream C9.
That's a hate crime.
It's offensive.
All C9s are hate crimes.
It's a hate crime against my heart. I'm just trying to enjoy my video game.
We're giving Mallory like a heart attack. I just see her facial expression.
Mallory is extremely disappointed in us.
Listen, I am the grandmother here, which means I am the most easily entertained. Hearing Katie say the words, I can't say C9 to them. It's like a hate crime. Sort of just sends me down. It's right into the... But, like, I'm really happy that y'all have had some, like, cool interactions, because let me tell you one thing. At my day job, I work at, like, a party store, right? And we have, like, not necessarily a dress code, but so like I usually wear like my Overwatch t-shirts, and then I have a lanyard for my name tag, and it's a Diva lanyard.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, I have a Diva keychain, and I have a Diva phone case, and I have a Diva headphones. Like, I'm very much one brand. And one time, this like, it's always the same aesthetic of like a group of gamer dudes that just walk in as like a pack, and they all came up to the register, and I saw all my Diva stuff, and they were like, "Oh, so do you play Overwatch? Do you play Diva?" And as a joke, I was like, "No, I've never heard of that. I don't know who that is." Because I thought it would be funny, but alas, alack, I then got, you know, the next 10 minutes were them making fun of me and calling me a fake gamer girl.
Ooh.
Which, yeah, which my boss low-key threw them out. But, like, that's the kind of thing, like, that's why this is so important to me, because it's that kind of thing that still happens in my everyday life. Like, I have to prove to people that I like Overwatch by, like, explaining to them how to play something. Like, I have 450 hours on Diva. I don't need to explain to you anything. I know how to play this game. I know what I'm about. Like, you don't need to come into my place of employment and, like, quiz me on this stuff. Because, like, that's not it, fam. It happened today. Like, it's 2019. It is April. It happened today. I can't.
It's okay. You could always say, no, this isn't Overwatch League related, as you're wearing Overwatch clothes, and then run away, obviously, like I do, as I did this week.
As you're wearing Fusion.
Oh yeah, I had this girl come up to me, and she was like super adorable, and she was like, "Hey, is your lanyard like Overwatch League?" And I was like, "No." And then I grabbed my coffee and I just walked away. I had no idea how to respond. Yeah, I have. It's my like name tab at work, and it was just, I'm a mess.
I don't even know where Guangzhou is.
Like that guy gets like super excited and like goes up to Miranda to talk to him. I run away because I can't handle real life people. I don't know how me and Darby are gonna handle Atlanta when we go. I'll probably see her and just run away because I'll be like, oh god, I have to like actually be friends and talk about this now.
Imagine having to actually interact with me in real life.
No, I didn't mean like that. See,
Imagine
I'm a
having
disaster.
friends.
I insult my friends because I'm an idiot. I'm sorry.
Imagine meeting your friends in real life. Couldn't be me.
We're gonna
Really
we're gonna
continue.
drag you to Atlanta kicking and screaming, one way or the
Yeah.
You
other.
could just hold my hand. You don't have to
Okay.
threaten me with a good time.
Come to Atlanta.
We're all
Come to
going to
Atlanta
New
for it.
York for the finals, right? We're all going to New York.
Yeah, we're gonna hang out
Yeah,
at Miranda's
yes.
place.
We're gonna sound super dumb if it's like not
Wait.
even New York.
Yeah, watch it not even be in New York.
We're just going to New York for the finals, whether it's there or not. We're just gonna hang out.
The finals can come to us.
Anthony, can you make them put the finals in New York? We'd be much
Yes, because
obliged.
Anthony specifically can do that. That's his
Well, because the Florida Mayhem are going to the finals. It's time.
Yeah, the Florida Mayhem,
The Florida Mayhem are
are
my new Shanghai Dragons. I'm the Brennan Hook of this podcast. It's time. The year is now. Let's
That is
go.
a very hot take that I was not prepared for.
I wasn't prepared for it either. I just sort of opened my mouth and said some stuff, and it was not the play.
Oh my god. He literally
Shrunk. You know that episode of SpongeBob where his face just goes into his head?
Listen, their one win is against my team, and I have a problem with this.
So they need some more wins, is what that means.
Not against Fusion.
Did
Not
someone say
anytime soon.
wins?
No.
No. Not in 2019, I did not.
Come on, guys.
This is Team France.
Okay, Anthony,
speech, and I won't have
We
it.
can make fun of him.
Yeah. Also, I'm glad that Anthony fully admitted that I have more faith. We believe, dude. Come on. Where's your
You heard it here first. The first
we-
episode of HausQueens. Florida Mayhem make it to
Hashtag we
We're the
believe.
stronger. We're the
We
stronger.
is just Katie and
No,
her crazy
guys,
box.
guys, hear me out. Hear me
No.
out. I'm co-opting the momentum from the really successful Team USA social media campaign, hashtag we believe, and then I'm throwing it onto the Florida Mayhem, and that's just mine now.
I'm glad the Florida Mayhem now have 2 fans. Congratulations.
Anthony, I'm free to eat Subway with you on Thursday if you're free.
This is
Oh, goodness.
I ship it.
this has gone fully off the rails.
I'm free on Thursday.
We really
no.
should have planned the last.
Being called out in chat right now. It is
Me?
hysterical. Yeah.
Oh.
Bradley's like, Katie,
Bradley wants to know
Bradley's
what your
about
take is.
to like have
Oh,
an
I'd fight-
aneurysm.
Fight Bradley any day of the week. Come and fight me.
Next episode on HausQueens. Bradley.
We beat up Bradley.
Chokes out Bradley.
Katie fights Bradley. The epic showdown of Katie v. Bradley. God. This is what we can expect now every week. It's just this. We have
One
such
cage fight.
we have like a secure and wonderful, thoughtful intro with like meaningful like paraphrases, and we're so into it, and then the back half is just us straight up ripping. We are
Listen, there's nothing I do better than really intense moments of clarity and then absolute garbage afterwards.
I used the entirety of my brain cell to talk about our mission statement.
Yeah.
It's gone now.
Oh, by the way, Katie, Bradley said that he would lose in the fight.
He knows.
He's right.
I am who I am.
Katie would
Self-awareness.
murder us.
Queen of aggression. Queen of unwarranted aggression. Bradley's a dear friend of mine, I'm so sorry.
That's why we can riff on him.
Yeah.
Right. That's why HausQueens exists, is because we're just garbage people put together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's
I
the
think that's
real goal.
beautiful.
HausQueens, come be a garbage person.
Come be garbage with us.
Sometimes a family is 5 garbage wives. 6 garbage wives.
And their cool Australian aunt. Hi, Rachel.
Hi,
Rachel.
Rachel.
Hi, Rachel. We love you.
If you didn't know, because she's not on screen with us right now, was the Justice writer for us during Stage 1, is no longer affiliated with the Game Haus formally, but she is in my heart. And she helped us, sort of conceptualize and put together the idea of HausQueens. So I did want to take a moment to thank my dear daughter and aunt, Rachel. Don't ask me about the gnarled branches of my family tree.
We're still
Oh, no.
trying to figure that out.
It's not like
But
this.
It's a moment. It's a moment.
I just have a lot of love in my heart, and I wanted to share it with Rachel.
Yeah, Rachel is
And everyone.
currently off in the world of Australian vet school.
She's like being
And
a
I'm
successful
very proud of her.
person. Yeah,
We're successful.
Are we?
I mean,
Okay,
I definitely,
we're successful. We're
I
successful.
have. If
We're
we're
messes,
talking
but we're
about
successful.
like esports success, I definitely did an interview at the beginning of March that I haven't even transcribed yet, because I'm what? Bad at my job.
You're making sure it's perfect. It takes time. Is what's happening there.
I did write a very emotional piece about Envious and Dallas Fuel that Hulk's dad retweeted and said that he enjoyed, which I'm not saying to flex, I'm saying because I still can't believe it happened to me.
I would have cried.
I did. We were on a call, and I had to mute myself because I was, like, tearing up, and I was like... I had to look it up. I had to ask you guys, if I could, if you could find out the name of his, or of, like, the website that they put up, for his passing, the anniversary of his passing, because I wanted to find his dad's name to make sure it was the right guy, because I was like, there's no way that this happened, but it did, and that's my life now. So, my life, like I was talking about, my journey in esports has been short but intense, and sort of full of moments that are completely unbelievable. Like, the fact that my second ever interview was with Uber on the phone. Like, fully just, like, personal idols was just having a casual conversation on the phone with me. Anyway, that's my life.
That's kind of the joy of it, though. It's just,
the
randomness.
randomness.
You talk a lot about, like, the human connection thing, just how, like, I found that it's been super easy for everything to just kind of get interconnected, and I kind of love that.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of crossover in a lot of the things that I do. So, like, I can talk about, like, the economics of, like, destroying your tier 2 scene, and also sort of, like, the exclusivity that localization could include in, or, like, like, the sort of, like, wealth inequality it could favor in, by having, like, a centralized location. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I can write about it. I can't talk about it because as we know, I used my brain cell already today. But I mean, like, yeah, everything has its place together. So yeah. Oh, Anthony, yeah, I mean, I'm not...
We could do a whole episode about tier 2.
One of the first pieces I ever wrote about Overwatch was after the World Cup, when they sort of, like, touted this narrative of the underdog, and I really hated it, because as they were doing that, they were also working to defund their tier 2 scene. And at that point, they hadn't had any announcements about, like, the tournaments that were coming up for tier 2 at all. It was just sort of, like, the hot rumor was that they were getting rid of the World Cup, and that was, like, the only LAN event that anyone was gaining an experience in, and they'd just taken away the LAN event, or the LAN, or, like, we knew that Contenders Season 3 wasn't going to have a LAN, or something like that.
I think we just learned that Korean Contenders had
Korean Contenders, yeah.
Yeah. So I was really mad, because you can't just, like, praise the narrative of the underdog if you're actively working to repress them, and keep their struggle, so.
Yep.
Oh no, Rachel just just tagged my work in chat. Don't expose me like that. Don't.
Read it.
Do though. But do though.
Yeah.
Don't do it, you cowards.
Katie's an awesome writer. And
Stop it!
Love her.
Stop supporting me in chat.
It's
not like
support
one thing. Stop. Support your local tier 2 writer. It's me.
Okay.
Yes, Eli, I'm saying that you should fight the power and one-trick your way into the Overwatch League. I think Hog is the only person you should ever one-trick.
Yeah.
It's just a 400... It's just a giant... No, it's not 400. Just a giant tank, or like a gasoline tank of HP. Kate, don't look at me like that. That's a DPS.
I'm trying to understand where you're going with this.
So imagine if a DPS player just had, like, a ton of health.
Okay.
Think about it.
Roadhog can vape.
Yeah.
That's
bro.
Your uncle.
Every time, I'm sorry, I cannot be the only one that whenever I see Roadhog take a breather, I go, oh no, he's vaping it.
He's getting that sweet, sweet cotton.
I've been in games with people who don't know what that means, and I'm just sitting here like, it's
vaping?
The most,
they don't know what vaping is?
Like that, when you say no vape, like you make that call out, no vape, been like, what? And I'm like, no vape. He just vaped. He does not have it. He killed him.
God. It meant that they, like... I think it just meant that they had the privilege of not knowing what vaping was. It's like, wow. Man,
we've gone completely off.
No, this is good. This is
tangentially really. This is what we mean. We're excited to have people in chat that are saying Vape Nation, because that's the sort of vibe we're trying to evoke here. Because, like I'm joking, like, ha ha ha, funny. But also, like, I didn't have people that I could just, like, shoot like trash talk around with my as my Overwatch friends. So come here and say your garbage Overwatch opinions. Well, not all of them.
We don't need them all.
The ones like have to hashtag vape niche, not like weird, awful opinions about people. But
So tell me about how you think the Florida Mayhem are going to make it to the...
That's
We
a pretty.
believe!
I will agree with you.
But this we, there is no we. I want
my
no
own
part of
we.
this.
This is
I have-
the
I am
official House
embarrassed.
Queen's take.
I am annoyed. I will never forgive.
If it means that Anthony will watch our show, we believe.
We believe.
Anthony, I'm free on Thursday for Subway. I'm just saying.
At the very least, Katie believes.
Yeah, at the
At
very
the
least,
very
you
least.
can.
At the very least, and also at the very most.
I have to use all my energy for the charge at the moment because I want them to move up and the justice. That's what
Me plus Anthony equals a we.
That's fair. That's more than one.
that is more than one.
That's true.
He used my brain
Yes, it
cell.
counts.
You okay, Valerie?
Mallory?
Mallory's dying. It's okay. Everything's fine.
I've been dying.
Great news, Anthony and I are going to Subway.
Congratulations.
We love that for you.
That's fun.
I love that
Send
for
me
me.
some.
Gluten-free bread, and then I'll join you.
They have like the salads. You can have a nice Subway salad.
Do you want me to eat a salad?
I want you to
I
not
really
get
want
sick
a salad.
from
Let me go to
gluten.
Subway real quick.
Really? Right here in front of my salad? Really?
Oh, yeah, I don't know who Yaki Soba is, but they're joining the
Oh,
Mayhem
that's,
train.
That's our boy. That's our Mayhem Raider.
yeah, that's amazing,
Oh,
writer.
for real? Hey!
Oh my
I'm
god.
sorry, I'm not around.
Sam's here.
Sam's here.
Hi,
We love
Sam.
you, Sam.
Hi, Sam.
Sam is very positive. We love
So
you,
there's
Sam.
3
Hey,
people.
Sam.
3 is we. 3's company.
3 is
There
me.
you go. Now you have more friends on
Yeah.
your little sad Florida train.
Kate,
Listen, I'm bitter, okay? I'm allowed to be bitter.
Really like that. In front of
I'm
my
allowed
salad,
to be bitter.
Subway
In
salad.
front of my Subway salad.
Me.
That's
My
okay.
boys are doing great. That game happened. That was a thing I had to witness with my own 2 eyeballs, and
I'm sorry.
I'll be bitter until the day I die. I'm fine.
That's rough. That's rough. buddy.
That's rough, buddy.
Damn, that's crazy.
Y'all hear some?
Y'all hear something?
Can't
I
get
don't
a
hear
real
nothing.
hype of the Florida Mayhem. Y'all hear some?
Y'all hear something?
this is why every week when we do this, it's not going to be all 5 of us. We're going to rotate out.
Yes, we are going to
Yes.
rotate. This is
Yeah,
the
I
first.
guess we
Yes.
should that we are going to
Yeah,
be
we're going to be rotating. It'll be a lot more. We'll have structure.
Will it? Is that true?
Will we?
Not if I have to talk about the
promise a
Florida
lot of
Mayhem
things.
again.
Alright, next week, Florida Mayhem episode.
And next week, Katie found dead in a ditch.
Oh my god.
I think that's good for us.
On that note,
On that note,
You've met us. You know what we want to do.
yes, you know how
and
crazy we are. Thank you
know
so
that
much.
We're all
you
on
know
chicken
the
sensors.
high level analysis you can expect from HausQueens, honestly.
This is
do we
gonna
wanna-
be a fun place.
Yeah, we're gonna have
Good
lots of
place,
fun.
but also a fun place.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
so come hang out with us.
And I promise we'll have real takes, and
We will. We promise.
There will be memes, but there will be takes. Those things will be true.
You know, this is a space for like everyone and not just
Mhm.
women, not just
Mhm.
LGBTQ people,
Mhm.
but like people of
Yeah.
color like me. Like
Yeah.
come enjoy like this space that we're trying to create for everyone. We want everyone to create the space that honestly right now isn't super open right now
Mhm.
in the Overwatch League community. We want to open that to everyone.
Mhm.
And therefore come join us. It'll
Come be
be
our friend.
it'll be a great party.
We are your esports moms now.
Yeah!
I'm the grandma. Thank you very
I'm
much.
my
Mallory's like,
protection.
I'm grandma in training. The rest
I'm
of
the
you,
cool cousin.
sure.
Because I'm like 19 years
We'll
old.
also figure out this family
I'm
tree.
fully a mom. I am
Then you can
making
figure out the family tree.
Katie is
Yeah.
baby.
Katie is
Katie's
baby.
baby. I am
Katie is
baby.
This is true.
I am baby.
Do,
Alright,
do we
so
want to plug it? Do we want to plug anything before we go?
Follow
Watch
us on
Watch House
Twitter.
tomorrow.
Twitter.
Time as always.
on Twitter,
Maybe I'll be
my
there.
handle's right there.
Follow us on Twitter.
All of our handles are like either right below us or right above us.
Mine's above.
Yeah.
Also,
it's somewhere.
thank you to Miranda for making our beautiful graphic.
Yes,
Um,
Miranda.
She
Our
kind of insane, actually.
our
Graphic design is her
she-
passion.
sis really snapped the tea, huh?
This wig is so skinny, sis.
A
Wig?
wig?
My wig is snapped. A wig?
Oh,
We had to do one.
Oh my god,
There we go.
wig!
Get our wig out of the way.
Okay, Felipe's gonna
All
listen
right.
to this and
Okay.
just absolutely.
Combust.
It's like, all right. Thank you so
So
much,
on that
everyone,
note-
for being here. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Hanging out.
I hope you enjoyed it.
Mhm.
We'll see you next week.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right,
Please
have a
hit
good
us
night,
up.
everybody.
Yeah. Bye, everyone. Good night.
Bye.
Bye.